Hi everyone, this is Yana, and I have a couple of really simple yet super fun and a little bit addictive cards to share today. I'm going to be working with several die sets from Simon Says Stamp, the single roses, which are beautiful scribble-like flowers that I have found look fantastic when cut out of just about anything. No, seriously, you can cut these out of cardstock, out of patterned paper, out of vellum, and they always look stunning. I'm going to be cutting mine out of watercolor paper, and here's a little peek at what the die-cut flowers and leaves look like, but I'll talk about that in detail in a minute. I also have a few other fantastic dies from Simon, the Painted Happy Birthday, Painted Thanks, and Painted Congrats. I am really loving this painted font. It's nice and bold, yet detailed and very elegant. Simon had painted dies like this in the past, and I think they are, simply fantastic. In fact, I'm going to link to another video here where I use the Painted Hello die. So I'm going to start working on my card by making a messy watercolor background. I have a sheet of Arches cold press watercolor paper. This is my current most favorite watercolor paper. And I have my Gansai Tambi watercolor set. And here's a little leftover piece which I already used to die cut my flowers and leaves from. I just wanted to show it here so that you can see that you can make pretty much any background you like to die cut these roses from. So starting by making my watercolor paper wet, I'm using a large flat brush from Ranger. I think this one is 1/2 inch wide brush, and I'm just adding clear water to my paper. Now my water isn't 100% clean, but this doesn't really matter. I'm not working on a painting or anything of that sort. I'm just going to make a really messy background here. Now I'm using my round brush, and this is brush number 6 I think, and starting to add color. I'm using a larger brush just so that I can cover a large area faster. I'm not doing any detailed work, I'm just dropping pigment onto my paper, so no need for a smaller brush. First adding lots of yellow, then bringing a little bit of orangey red pigment, adding more vibrant red, and you can see that there is no rocket science here. Just add color, add more color, and make sure you don't mix anything that's going to give you mud. So next I'm adding green, then adding some darker green, and I did mix up a little bit of that red at the top with the green and ended up having ugly muddy section. You want to avoid doing that. So finally I'm adding blue and absolutely loving the way it mixes with yellow. Now I'm not going to lie, I don't like one bit the way this looks, so I'm going to use my heat tool, dry this background, and try to fix it. You can let it air dry too, but using a heat tool is always so much faster. So once my background was dry, I added more color. This time I did not use a wet watercolor technique where my paper was wet at first. It's nice to work with wet paper when you want your colors to move and mix, but if you don't want that, it's best to work with dry paper. So after I added the second layer of green, I once again dried my background with a heat tool, then cleaned my brush and moved on to adding some vibrant pink and lots more yellow. I do want to point out that you don't really have to like the background to like the final die cut. I can't say that I'm super happy with the way this turned out, but once I die cut it, the die cut pieces are going to look awesome. So next I'm using my dies, the flowers and the leaves, and I'm going to die cut these out of my watercolor background. I did try to keep the negative parts inside the flowers and inside of some of the leaves, just to make them look a little bit more different, I guess. And once I pop them out of the die, you can really start to see the beauty of this watercolor background. When cut into smaller pieces, I think it looks quite lovely. So I made lots more die cuts until my entire background was gone and cut into pieces, and then I started working on my sentiments. I didn't do anything special, just die cut the painted words out of gold mirror cardstock. I felt like gold would go nicely with yellows and pinks and greens and a hint of blue. I also die cut a few flowers just out of plain white cardstock, just for fun. I wanted to see what it would look like if I could layer white die cut flowers on top of the roses that still had the negatives. Let's call them the solid roses or the solid flowers. So I grabbed a few Simon's A2 card bases, folded them, and started arranging my flowers in the center. I went with one large flower and two smaller pieces, or, two large flowers and one smaller rose, and also a few leaves to balance things out. I I used Scrapbook Adhesive's clear dimensional dots. I got these from Scrapbook Adhesives back in September, and I've been using them all fall, and I've grown to really love this product. I love the fact that they are clear and dimensional at the same time, so they work perfectly for adhering my roses and also the negative pieces inside. I wanted to use some sort of adhesive to have dimension, to be invisible, and also to hold all the die cut pieces together. I mean the positive pieces and the negative pieces. So I used these clear dimensional dots to pop up the solid roses, and then used dual tip glue pen, also from Scrapbook Adhesives, to adhere the elements that didn't need any dimension, like the flowers and leaves without the negatives. And also used this glue to adhere that top white layer onto my smaller solid flower. I used some more dimensional adhesive, foam adhesive squares this time to adhere the gold die-cut words, and also added a couple of enamel dots in pink and yellow to finish making these cards. This ended up being addictive, so I did cut more flowers that I needed and made 3 cards instead of just 1. These were super easy to make and quite fun. I myself love to make watercolor backgrounds like the one I shared in this video, since they're so easy and kind of relaxing, and I can do this all day. Too bad I don't have enough time for that, but you know, who does, right? Anyhow, this finished today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more videos using products from Simon, be sure to check out the link you see on the screen. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I have new card making videos coming out every week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!